Well, hello, Sonder family. Welcome. I hope that you are kind of thawing out. I heard on the news today, like I think it's Southern California and Florida are like the warmest places in the United States, and the rest of us are a little bit on the chilly side. So I'm kind of excited about that. I have been waiting for the Texas heat to go away. So anyway, we are so glad that you're here. I'm Jennifer Ogilvy, and I am in the Dallas, Texas area where it has been pretty chilly today. I went outside one time. My husband finished putting up some new lights. And so I went outside one time today, one whole time I left. Otherwise, I've been inside. I've been sewing and just enjoying a cozy kind of hygge day. So it's really, really good to see you all. This is our first renewal journal prompt social. So I'm super honored to be able to get to be here with you. Bailey is my co-pilot this evening, my co-facilitator, and y'all know how frustrating it is to deal with Zoom sometimes. And she had a little, she got stuck in traffic getting home, and then she couldn't get Zoom to be nice to her. So she's kind of like a little frazzled now. So, Bailey, we're just glad you're here. Take a deep breath. But if you need anything along the way, she's hanging out in the chat tonight and she'll be able to point you in the right direction. Yeah, her computer and Zoom are in an argument right now. So, I'm going to do my best to share from my computer. We'll see if we can't figure out the links and that kind of stuff. If we have a link that's missing for someone, I can always drop it in Sonder Club after we're done with this. I don't want to open up too many screens because I don't want you to lose the content that we're going to be working on tonight. So make sure your chat is set to everyone. Take a deep breath. You made it. You're with your people. And we are going to dig into a couple of really cool pages in our journal. And I have shared, I'm real excited about looking at renewal at the end of the year. It just feels a little strange, right? To be looking at renewal as we're supposed to be wrapping things up. We do share these community guidelines when we are gathered together. And so this is just that reminder about the spaces we create for one another. Is there anyone joining us for, oh, Monica, I love that mindset. Yes, it's a Friday Eve. Happy Friday Eve, everybody. Is there anybody here for the very first time? If so, if you will just drop a me in the chat so that we can welcome you. That would be most appreciative because we want to give you a big welcome. Okay, Cheryl, your chat is set to host and panelists, so be sure to change that setting to everyone so that we can all welcome you. But y'all give Cheryl a big hello. She's here for the first time. Rosa's here for the first time. We're really glad for that you have chosen to join us. Your first extra social. Okay, so Michelle, you've done the setups, and then I think these are super duper sweet to do with our community. And I know that I get so much more out of these journal prompts with the community support that happens at these events. And if I can't make a setup to work on the prompts, I always go back and watch the YouTube recordings because just that guidance and hearing what other people are thinking is just so helpful. Okay, so there's your community guidelines. And remember to keep yourself nice and safe and feeling good. And if something feels a little itchy tonight, give yourself permission to work on it when you're in a better headspace. No one's taking your journal up and grading it. This is your space and your time. So we do share those community guidelines though. So like I mentioned, we have this interesting theme of renewal at the end of a year. And I'm super excited to dig into the first of our journal prompts. So I worked on an opening activity that I think you will really like, and it's something that should be familiar to every one of you who have been part of the Sonder family, especially if you've gone to like lots of weekly setups. So, what we're going to work on tonight is gold. I think it was really helpful for me personally to do what we're going to do. We're going to do our renewal journal prompts, which are on page 14, and then we're going to do a portrait of renewal. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to be as artistic as you can, grab your markers or your pencils or your colored pens, because, a portrait, we're going to kind of imagine ourselves through a different lens. But not all of us are artists. I always tell you, I have to go and Google how to draw a tree, how to draw a chair, how to draw a box when I'm doing, because I'm not anyway. So, how to draw myself. Um, I'm going to give you some optional activities if or optional ways of approaching your page. If you're like, oh, no, 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 drawing is not for me, and that's just going to make me stress out, because we don't stress out when we are together. So we'll be working on that. So, all righty. So we're going to do a little self-check, little self-check with ourselves. So sit for a minute, take a deep breath. And I have seven statements here, and I want you to read through all seven statements. Just go through them slowly. And I want you to choose the one state. Now, you may feel a little bit of all of these statements, but I want you to choose the one statement that is feeling more true than the other. So there's going to be one that's like super strong, and the other six might still be popping up, but there's going to be one that's really, really kind of hitting you hard tonight. So I'm already seeing one. Drop that in the chat. Let's see, kind of see and get a pulse on where we are. My number was number two. My brain feels full, like it won't turn off. I'm seeing some oh goshes. Yeah, lots of okay. Look, we're kind of everywhere. Not a lot of, I see some fours. You got to pick the one, Amanda. Is it four or two? Perpetual two. Yeah, Nikki, I was up, I was up really late and then woke up to, middle of the night, go to the bathroom, and I couldn't go back to sleep. And it's because of my head. Um, but I really want you to just to kind of hone in on one. And I want you to now, I'm going to invite you to turn to a notes page and write your one statement across the top of your page. Yeah, I'll read them, Janine, because I know some of you may be on a phone. So one is, I feel tired even after sleeping, or my body feels heavy. Number two is, my brain feels full, like it won't turn off. Number three is, I've been carrying emotions I haven't had space to express. Number four is, I feel peopled out or lonely even around people. Number five is, my inspiration feels flat or my imagination feels tired. Number six is, noise, lights, or screens feel like too much today. And number seven is, I'm craving more meaning, grounding, or connection. So y'all drop that one statement, write that in. And I'm going to come and drop this in the chat. Let me just do that for you, because I think that will be a good way for you to take a look at that. And it didn't copy the numbers. So each statement will be like number one, number two, number three. Sorry about that. All right. So can't choose all of them. And you might be feeling a little bit of all of them, but one feeling is probably a little more predominant, just given the season, like what's going on in your life. Is work crazy? Maybe you're really peopled out this week. You feel all of them, but this week you are peopled out. So yeah. Okay, you guys got it. So write that at the top of your page. Now, this is the part I was telling you that you're going to recognize this. You can put your pen down for just a minute. We're going to explore the areas of rest in our lives and reflect on the ways we can find renewal where we need it most. So there are 7 statements because those statements correspond with the 7 types of rest. We know that there's the physical rest, the going to bed, the resting our body, getting our Z's, right? And yes, do you love that little cartoon? You look tired. Thanks. It's probably because I'm tired. We can all relate, right? So y'all, what's really cool is the 7 types of rest is actually this concept that came from Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith. And she has written a book called Sacred Rest, and I haven't read it, and my library doesn't have it. So I'm going to have to like go to thrift books and see if I can find it. But she writes that rest is the most underused, chemical-free, safe, and effective alternative therapy available to us. And she's the one who came up with these 7 types of rest. We think we're tired and it's all about like I need to go to bed early and I need to sleep in. But she recognized like what if you do that and you still wake up tired, right? So she really did a lot of research on these different areas of rest. All righty. So I'm going to go through these slides really quickly. And then we're going to work on our own personal type of rest. So when we get to the screen that is yours, you might even want to grab the screenshot just so that you have it, available to you if you've got your phone or whatever. But I'll be scrolling through as you work on it. But there are 7 types of rest, so it might take a little while. So, of course, the first one, number one, is that physical rest. And the signs you needed is you feel tired even after sleeping, you experience muscle tension, headaches, or body aches, you rely on caffeine or sugar to get through the day. I'm there sometimes. Sometimes it's that caffeine that's got to kick me, kick me, kick me. Um, you feel physically sluggish or heavy. Do y'all have those 4 o'clock doldrums, that you just saw? And you're restless at night or having trouble sleeping. And there's ways to remedy that. And we talk about the 7 types of rest all the time at weekly setups, that maybe you'll include that in your mind body health section. So here's the way that you can get that rest passively. Quality sleep, so you can look at your whole sleep hygiene routine. Short naps, lying down in stillness, just lying, savasana if you do yoga, and using supported pillows or weighted blankets, and then active physical rest, because sometimes we need that kind of rest. And that would be things like stretching and yoga, like, you let those joints relax. You maybe get a massage or you give yourself, squeezes and that kind of thing. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm not a good napper because it throws my evening off, right? Um, Walking breaks, a slow walk, not like getting a cardio in, but just that reset. Of course, hydration and movement during long sitting periods. So pay it, and like I said, we have the one that we're going to work on tonight, but all of this is good information because we're probably lacking in many things. So number two is mental rest. This is where I landed, and it's where you can't turn your thoughts off and you kind of feel scattered or foggy because there's so much bouncing around and you forget the simple things. And some of that is age related, I know, but like why'd you walk into the room, right? Or where are my glasses? I can't find my glasses anywhere. Those kind of moments. Let's see. I need my glasses. You're easily distracted, so you start something, you walk away, you start something else, you go back to the first thing, you pull something else out. And then you wake up feeling like your brain never stopped working. And so to rest in this mental rest area, some things you could do: brain dump, journaling, 2 minutes of breathing or mindfulness breaks, turning off notifications, doing one task at a time, like commit, don't keep bouncing around, keeping a notepad for intrusive thoughts, and scheduling small little breaks throughout the day. If you were number three, emotional rest, the signs you need this. You are emotionally exhausted or at capacity. You know that feeling. You hide your true feelings to keep the peace. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. And inside you're going, liar, liar, liar. You feel resentful, overwhelmed, or unappreciated. You are the strong one for everyone else. And you feel pressure to appear you're fine when you're not. I suffer from this one a lot as well, but right now I'm in number two. I'm mentally I need rest. And to remedy this, the kind of rest is like share find someone support that supports you and share honestly. Get those feelings out. Don't look for a no, they don't have to have an answer. You just need that sounding board. Saying, I can't take that on today. Those no boundaries. We talked about November and keeping boundaries. Journaling about your feelings, allowing yourself to feel it and cry and pause and get it out. Reducing emotional labor with draining people. So that's that setting boundaries. And then naming your emotions instead of suppressing them, which is a really good thing to do while you're journaling. Okay, let's go to social rest. The sign you need for that is you're overwhelmed by social plans. You dread small talk or large gatherings. You feel lonely even when surrounded by people. You feel like you're constantly on around others. I used to feel this a lot at work because I was a school director and I always had to be calm and composed and everything was fine, right? And I had to exude that and it is exhausting. You crave being around people who require nothing of you. And do you have that one friend? And it doesn't matter. Y'all can just sit in a room together and not do anything, but you feel like you have that company. Um, if you have social rest needs, you can spend time with your life givers. You can reduce or space out or your social obligations. I used to tell my parents at my school, look at your December calendar and eliminate one thing. Just take one thing away. What is the least thing that you can take away to be home, right? Choose one on one connection instead of the large groups. Enjoy quiet companionship or parallel play, and schedule solitary or solitude without guilt. All right, number five, if you needed some creative rest, you found yourself feeling stuck, uninspired, or bored, problem solving feels harder than usual. You can't think of new ideas. And if you are a true creative, that's like having writer's block or you can't make that first stroke on your canvas. You feel cynical or disconnected from the beauty that you normally see. You're tired of routines or sameness. And what you need is to go spend some time in nature or enjoy music, art, or creative spaces, doodle, scribble, do collage without any expectation. There's not an end product. You're just focusing on the journey. Rearrange or refresh your environment, clean slate. Read or watch something imaginative or whimsical, or give yourself permission to play. If you need sensory rest, you are feeling easily irritated and overwhelmed. You don't want to hear loud. Loud just makes you jumpy or tense. You see your phone light up and you're like, oh, those kind of things are triggering that exhaustion. You crave quiet and soft lighting, and you feel drained when you're in that busy, noisy, cluttered space. And I get sensory issues from too much clutter. And I'll tell my husband, we have got to clean this house because I start getting anxious. The best way to get this rest, turn off your screens, get switched to paper, which is the beauty of our journal. Sit in silence or maybe put some noise canceling headphones on. White noise is real good for that. Dim the lights, close your eyes for a few moments, reduce your background noise, take intentional sensory breaks, and rest in an uncluttered environment. So maybe you find your little there's a hygge name for it's like a I can't remember the name, but we talked about a hygge culture or something, and it was like your little hygge corner that was cozy, right? And it was just yours. You create a little space somewhere. I'm sorry, I can't remember that name right now. It'll come to me. And then finally, the last type of rest, number seven, spiritual rest. So the signs you needed as you feel disconnected or just kind of adrift. And spiritual doesn't necessarily have to do with religion. It has to be your connectivity to this world and your community. You start questioning the purpose behind your efforts. You crave deeper meaning. You feel isolated or unsupported, and you want to reconnect with your values and beliefs. You don't feel like you're living an authentic life. And so, ways to get this are through prayer, meditation, or reflective journaling. You're here tonight. Acts of service or kindness, reading those texts that are life giving, connection with a supportive group or a faith community, gratitude practices, and spending time in ritual or stillness. So I'm going to go back through all of these, but now on that page that you put that type of rest that you need, um, we're going to answer one or two or three of these questions. I want you to choose at least one of the following statements and explore the type of rest that you need in a short paragraph. Consider the actions that you can take to welcome the rest you need, and the more specific you can get, the better. So the statements are blank rest, whatever kind of rest. So mine said mental rest would feel more nourishing if I allow myself to, and you fill that in. The biggest barrier between me and, for me, mental rest today is, and if mental rest could speak to me right now, it would say, so whatever kind of rest you need, and I'll drop those types of rest back in the chat. And I'll also, let me just actually, I will just escape here. Whoopsie. I want to share mine with you. Let me grab this prompt and drop that in the chat for you so that you'll be able to see that. Hold on one moment, my friends. And we will put that in the chat so you can refer to that. All righty. So I will share my page. I answered the first one and the third question, and I said, my brain feels full, like it won't turn off. That was that number two, mental rest. I need mental rest. Mental rest would feel more nourishing if I allowed myself to ask for help and spend time in my journal. So, what I'm going to do is I'll spend time in the morning to organize and prioritize the to-dos and events and commitments for each day. I'll ask Jim for help as needed and be willing to let him. I'll make the list specific, breaking down the tasks into smaller bites. This will help me focus so I can do one thing at a time. And then at night, I'll put my phone on Do Not Disturb by 9 p.m. and review the day as I check in with my journal trackers. I'll leave my journal next to the bed to brain dump any intrusive thoughts. And then the second part of that question, if mental rest could speak to me right now, it would say, where and how can you delegate the things you are filling your mind? That are filling your mind. Jennifer, be flexible and open to other ways of getting the same results. And remember, it is easy to say no. It is okay to say no, and it is okay to ask for help because that's hard for me. Okay, so lots of information. I'm going to put on some music while you work on this. I'll go back through all those slides. Let us know what's coming up for you as you explore the type of rest you need this evening. All right. I know this was a big chunk of an opening activity, but as I was really thinking about what renewal looks like in our lives, to me, rest goes hand in hand with that. Like, how can we truly feel renewed if we are lacking and not taking care of our different areas of rest? So I know, like I said, it's a big mouthful, big bite tonight. This is being recorded, and our headquarters, Maddie and headquarters has been so fast about getting these socials on the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to access it. And of course, some of you said already, I did all the screens, I did screenshots because I think it's important. Maybe, when you get that YouTube video, you maybe save it because here's what goes on. We're all saying, well, I could be all seven. But when we stop and think, okay, when I was thinking, what do I need right now? And it was mental rest. I'm the matriarch, right? And it's the holidays. And so the kids are asking me stuff, my husband's asking me stuff. Christmas just happens for everybody, right? It's just magical. And I realized my mental rest was already being taxed. And so I'm tired in other ways too, but that's the one that's going, Jennifer, 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 alert. So when we know about these, the the types of rest we need, when we're having those bad days, you can go and maybe look back at, maybe next week it's physical rest, maybe the week after that it's emotional rest. So you can go get what you need. And yeah, Teresa, it's going to be on the Silk and Sonder YouTube channel, and we'll get that stuff shared out. I had some other. You've seen all of these graphics at our setup. So we talk about seven kinds of rest, but I really wanted to do that deep dig as we start exploring renewal in our lives. So we talk a lot about seven kinds of rest in our Sonder community. All righty, so now let's go to page 14. And you can also, thanks, Jessica, for dropping that in there. You're making our job a little bit easier because I said I don't want to open up any more screens because I don't want to mess up what you're seeing. And Bailey's having that issue. Bailey's actually dialed in on her phone tonight, and she doesn't have the same access to everything that is normally on her computer. So thank you. That slide, Adrian, that's great. And all these little graphics have been at every one of our weekly setups, so you've seen them. Thank you all. I'm glad that you liked it. I'm glad that you found that to be beneficial. So I sure did. It's usually you're doing what I need to do. That's why it's part of our time together. Alrighty, so let's turn to page 14. We've got this renewal journal prompts page. The first one is what symbolizes renewal for you? And the second question on this page is list the aspects of your life where you feel stuck or in need of a fresh start. And this whole activity might have helped you pause and notice what you need. So when we think about this, I've got all the synonyms for renewal that came. And some ways to maybe answer this question this evening is think of a time in your life when you felt renewed. Like what brought that feeling about? That helps put you in that mindset. You might want to maybe tapping into the cycles of nature really speaks to renewal for you. But there could also be objects or colors or rituals that represent renewal in your life. This is all about taking what you need. That new fresh start in your journal every month could be that renewal symbol for you, or brewing that fresh cup of tea. I'm sipping on a cup of tea tonight. And that first hot sip. Oh, renewal, a vessel, a new scarf, a freshly painted wall. I mean, it could be whatever that represents for you. You can go in any direction with this. And then think about what small actions or habits help you reset or recharge. For me, it's always my super duper, way too hot evening shower. That is my reset time. It's terrible for me. I dry my skin out. But man, I have solved some problems in the shower and gotten a fresh start from that. But for you, it could be walking or journaling or meditating. Then our second part of this page says, where do you feel stuck or in need of a fresh start? So I thought it'd be kind of fun if you could push one button and life had a refresh button. What area of your life would you look at first? Your routines, maybe relationships, maybe motivation and mindset that's inside of you. Maybe it's your environment, maybe it's self-care, maybe it's something else. But think about, choose something, and then ask yourself, why did that come up for me? And consider what's leading to those misalignments for you. What's that root cause? What are the other players? That what else is playing into that misalignment? So I'm gonna put on some music while you explore this page, and then we'll get on with our last. right. You still may have some things to write on this page, but I want to make sure that we talk about our other page in our social tonight. And you can continue to work on this and start the next page a little bit later. It's all about taking what you need, what you want to work on. So we're going to be on page 16 looking at that portrait of renewal, and it says, visualize your renewed self, the best version of you, filled with joy, strength, and purpose. Use this space to draw, add stickers, or create a collage that represents who you are becoming. And so I pulled some of these. You may recognize this. You may have your self-portrait page shown here from a couple of journals ago, and I grabbed some of those screenshots to show. Yeah, you can use your favorite stickers for sure, Hannah. Um, but you can see that, some people actually drew people, but other folks are using stickers. You kind of take a collage approach. You can write, like you see the one in the upper right, or perhaps there's a symbol that represents you, like a tree. Now, I've got another thing. Many of you may remember Gretchen Rubin and her Life in the Five Senses. We did some deep digs in that work with Meha and Gretchen Rubin. And one of the things that Gretchen does is a five senses portrait. And I thought we could bring that back around as we consider our renewal portrait and kind of manifest what we would like to do. And the way you do that is you just kind of answer these questions and you think about like five or so things for each one of the senses. So it'd be when I think of the best version of myself, I think of smelling, and that could maybe be your favorite foods or fragrances. You think of seeing. What are the things that you see in yourself when you look in the mirror, when you notice yourself around your people, those kinds of things. And so the idea is to come up with about five things for each sense. So you could embrace this five senses portrait idea inspired by Gretchen Rubin. And then I have some other things to think about. Maybe after renewal, you'll be thinking about yourself as a tree or a mountain or a lantern, a book, a flame, like some symbolic item. Or maybe it's a whole list of adjectives that kind of describe who you want to be once you've renewed that vision of self. And you could also fill the page with affirmations to describe who you are. I am this person. And focus on what you want, not things you're avoiding, and be real specific and personal when you write those affirmations. And then you could also take all this information and, draw a little symbol, draw your little part of you, add an affirmation, throw some adjectives around the page, whatever is speaking to you tonight. So I'll go back through these slides while you start working on this page. All right, Sonder family, we always say, come as you are, no matter what's going on in your world. So we are so glad that you made time this evening. And we always say, take what you need. You don't have to come and work on the journal prompts. A couple of you shared, I'm here. I wasn't going to come, but we're just glad that you're here. We're just glad that you're here. And I know that this is a heightened season for so many people. And so give yourself lots of love and lots of grace as you kind of figure out how to get the rest that you need so that you can feel renewed. Give yourself that time. We'd love to see anything that you're comfortable sharing in Sonder Club, or maybe your thoughts about what you discovered this evening as you explored the area of rest that you needed. Just like share in Sonder Club because you might inspire someone else to do that. So, oh, I'm so glad that 100 plus people, huh, Claire? I'm glad that you found that. Yeah. So hopefully, and I'm sitting here as I'm looking. There's a little thing that says I'm muted in the recording. I hope that's not true. I hope that's not true. I hope I didn't mess some kind of thing up when I don't. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. If you have wanted to know more about the personalized coaching, be sure to contact concierge at silkandsonder.com. Yeah, and Georgette, I think y'all can hear me. I'm a little worried about what the recording might be doing. It's some kind of weird message. So crossing fingers that I didn't hit some kind of a weird button. Anyway, yeah, so hopefully the recording will be okay. But you guys are here and you got the content. So yeah, this might be a good way to help lean into feeling renewed and help getting that advice that you might need if you feel like you're in a tough spot right now. I'm just sending lots of love out to all of you and gratitude for the way you always support one another in the chat, no matter what folks share. So thank you for being you, Sonder family, and thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that you were able to glean some information that'll help you on your renewal journey through the month of December, and we will see you very soon.